Today we're going to be working on the cookhouse. I just had to take a day yesterday to plan this all out because I wanted to have a walking around path on the left side of this build. So, now I'm just going to put out the posts and make sure all my planning is correct. I'm going to be using whole spruce logs this time instead of the stripped ones for a different kind of look than the butcher. But the entire first floor is going to be stone or stone adjacent. Just have to make sure everything lines up. I can only do 2 on that gap there, and then I'll have the extra space behind. They'll do another set. This is going to be stairs that will build in the after effect, but not currently. Right now we're going to be working on the main building itself, not what's underneath it. And I know that I want to add a chimney, but I haven't decided the placement yet. Putting this out so I can actually put the stairs, still have space. Yes. Do the underfloor section for the door here. There we go. Need to rise up all of the pillars, and I'm going to be using the same log tie-in style that I've done for other builds. As this is on the wood side, it's going to be a peaked building as well, so this will help with that at least. I need to ensure that every pillar is brought up to the right height. For the second floor, the second floor will be just 1 block lower than this first floor, because this area needs a little bit of extra height in order to function properly. Because this is a cookhouse, which is a little bit more advanced than, say, a tavern. So all of the village's food and like pre-cooked things come from here, and it also has an upstairs bedding area for travelers to come through, similar to a tavern, except this is primarily for locals and for food production, hence why it's right next to the butcher. Gonna wall that off quickly so it doesn't cause problems, and I think I'm gonna put the fireplace here so that I can have it as a functional area and have the actual cooking area right here as well. And I'll need to bring the stone brick forward a block or 2 to ensure that everything lines up. And now that we have iron blooms, we can start work on iron bars, which were simple enough. Just need to dig out this area here where the fire pits are actually going to go. You could use magma cubes, or what is it? The block I've used before as a burning coal substitute. I am going to use campfires, because they give both a look and a functionality. You could actually cook your food on the campfires below the area where I'm trying to set up a kind of spit roast here. And I want these areas to have a stepped pattern to be more gradual, I think. Yes. Now, I'm gonna nudge this over by 1 block and make the back thicker, just so it doesn't affect upstairs. There we go. So it'll cut off this set of smoke, which wouldn't even reach to the full height of the building in the first place. So I'll put a second set of campfires in that will work as a proper chimney. And you could have it slanted to come out like a chimney in this manner, but let's have a look at that just below after I place down these couple blocks. not bad, but I think a thicker chimney might just work a little better. I'll put the smoke in. I'll probably have to raise this up again when I actually put the roof in. But yeah, I'm just gonna thicken the base so that everything is tied in properly. There we go. A little bit more on each side, I think. Yeah. And all the way up, so it's tied in. I'll dig out the dirt underneath certain sections to make sure it's not just like floating with random dirt, and that this is properly tied in. And now the first floor is going to be simple. Stone brick windows all around the walls, just so that we can have some nice trapdoor windows. And some set-in doors, so there's a little bit more depth to the outside of the building. I might put some planter pots and things on the outside of the windows, just as a final step. But for now, this is just the main bulk of the building. There we go. Now for this floor, we're going to be using spruce for the first floor's, like, actual floor. And then above, we'll use oak planks to tie it more into that. There we go. And we'll be using a combination of oak stairs and slabs, so that we have a little bit more space down here as well, because we don't have the extra room that the pitched roof will give upstairs. There we go. Now for some actual, like, cooking utensils setting. Let's see. Let's grab some. I need something to frame the counters out with. Oh, I know. Spruce shelves and solid stripped logs. So it looks kind of like a bar side countertop, and I can still place down item frames on it. There we go. And I'll fill these in, because we don't need that. I'll need some copper lightning rods, because I'll use that as the spit roast, and I want the waxed ones so they don't wear down over time and change color. And now, like, actual cooking utensils. I know it's not cooking, but I'm gonna keep this in here for, like, cutting larger things. I'm gonna have some smokers as well. Let's see. And, oh, I figured this out. If you take a chiseled bookshelf, where is it? I'll put these down first. But yeah, if you take a chiseled bookshelf, needs them over the counter, and add just 2 books in 2 very specific slots, then it looks like it's a wine shelf, because it produces a pink and a purple long rectangle that can't easily be identified. Let's see. Okay, no. Okay, so the top right, and where's the other one? Bottom left. So it looks like a pink bottle, or a wine bottle, that's got a gold label on it. Just another small thing. And then I'll do that for these as well, so it looks like it's kind of empty-ish wine shelves. And then I'll take a potion of the Turtle Master as the purple bottle, and a potion of... I could do Knockwort Potion, but that would come out as blue, and I've specifically not chosen the blue label. And Regeneration. Both things are things we have access to, which is Glistening Melon and Turtle Scoots, because this is the shipping, this is the ocean faring area. Turtle Scoots are just from the beach, And then glistening melon is the gold plus melon from trade. And I'm just going to flesh out these counters with the local primary foods. And use a gate here as like a fence stop. Okay, now I need to pull this along here and probably put stairs on the underneath so it looks like there's like a dividing area between the kitchen and the rest of the hall. Think I might swap to, yeah, I'm gonna swap to slabs in the middle and then just stairs on the edge. But this would also stop you from jumping over the counter. Now it's time for the second floor. So I'm going to be using a very compact set of stairs just over here by the door that'll work on later. And then this next floor is going to be entirely slabs. Now you could use flat back stairs like this so they're framed into it. But I think I'll probably just use full blocks just to tie in with these a little better because I'm going to have a oak railing bringing the stairs up as well. And I'll have a railing underneath as well just to cut this area off. You could put a little bit of extra storage down here, or could even lead into the basement if we weren't doing a separate area for that. And for these edge trim, where it actually connects to the log, I'm just going to use stairs just all the way around, I think, yeah. Make sure that your head doesn't get hit on that. I think that should be fine. I can adjust it afterwards. And now for the railing right after this. So this floor is going to be fully oak slabs. Going to use just slabs over the kitchen area instead of the stairs at the edges to give a little bit more room. What about the fireplace and its trim? Could do... no, that would give up too much space. I'll just swap out those blocks for just slab sets, and we already have a gradient close-ish to it. And then just bring oak fences up. I would have liked to use walls here, but there's no wood gradient walls in vanilla. So the fences will just have to do. And then we have to bring these log pillars up 3 blocks instead of 4. So this roof, the walls will be a little shorter, but it'll still have the peaked roof, which will make it taller in general. Now, I'm not going to put a roof on the stairs off to the edge, because that's for separate building, not this current. And with this night vision, you can actually see what I'm doing when I'm on the upstairs, and I don't have the campfires lighting things up. And I'm going to put out a couple of framed corner blocks here to help with the roofing later, to tie it in a little bit. I want this 2 blocks high, and I'll probably have to raise this up again, just the 2 blocks, so it lines up with the roof. Yeah. Okay, I want one solid log beam coming all across, and then we'll change how they're tied in at the ends and at the middle trusses as well. And I don't want it blocking the smoke, so it'll be tied to the block just above the chimney, but not covering it. There we go. And now I'm going to use these spruce, like solid blocks, as the tie-in block for every beam. Now usually I'd use gradient, but for this I'll show you why I'm not, and I'm using full blocks. Because I'm going to be using oak stairs as the gradual roofing, And I want these to stand out against the look of the stairs, which means I need them to be solid blocks instead. And I'll use oak blocks just as the backing here. It's kind of cut off on the side of the chimney, but it works. And I'll show you the roofing. So it cuts across, similar to the first proper building we did here. There we go. And I'll have to do the inversed stairs on the inside as well. And I know that the beam isn't lined up to the center because it's got 2 blocks extra. But that's fine in this case. And I just need to pull the stairs out 1 extra block as well, just to tie into this beam here. And it'll look a little weird on the other side because we don't have that same tie-in requirement. But I'll still do the bottom layer of being tied in. I'll leave that log so it lines up with the door below. Yes, just the bottom layers. So it still works the rest of the roof. There we go. And just pull it across. Roofing is always going to take a little longer than any other parts, even decorating. But a good roof can do a lot for a build. I'm going to add oak slabs across the top beam here to give it a nice pure oak roof finish. And I'm going to do the bottom tie-ins just for this area as well. Up to this level, so it does not interrupt the smoke. And I'm going to raise up the chimney another 2 blocks. Just so it ties in with the roof a little better. So you can see the smoke is already starting to stop coming out of the chimney from this height, which is why I brought it up. So I'm just going to bring this up to just below the final height. 1 block lower. Yeah, there. And I'm going to use stairs to trim and make the edge more gradual, so you could actually see the smoke coming out. Now it's time for the second floor. This will be nice and simple. Oak planks again, and I'm just fleshing out the walls. This area will have a few bunk beds. All the bunk beds will be black wool beds because that's the primary dye of this region. And I'll put more fencing around here as a kind of railing. Let's see. I need trapdoors. I think. Though oak trapdoors would be nice to use, you can see through them in 4 places, which would not fit for this. So, black beds and spruce trapdoors it is. Now, the lighting in here is going to be a little sparse even after I'm done placing the lanterns, just because I want to give it a special kind of mood. So I'm going to tie them into the beams and these end panels, I think. Yeah, so there's going to be 2 more blocks of space between the lighting on this side. And then the inversed stairs that I spoke about. This stops any water from dripping through when it's raining like this, and makes the curve more gradual. So, beds stacked like this, with trapdoors at the end, allow you to... I'll have to reset that. Allow you to just produce a kind of framed bunk bed look. But it does require 2 blocks of space between each. So I'll move around these first few, because I don't want the beds to go any further back than that. Move this up 1 block. And set the trapdoors in. You can click through the beds, through the bottom, if you didn't know, so that could be a pain sometimes as well. And I'll have to move the face this corner. Like that. There we go. And because it's in a corner, I can't stand in it. I'll have to click off of the bed to actually frame it in. But there we go. So I'm gonna add a couple of like storage chests and crafting table in the corner, just as some finishing touches. Because this upstairs area would be for travelers primarily. And it's a good excuse to cover that brick paneling over there. Now for actually fleshing out the bottom floor, I'm gonna need trapdoors for the windows, which is just quick because there's only 2. And then I'll need trapdoors, a spruce fence, and a stripped log. And these are going to be the tables. So this allows for a decorative and a functional table to be set in a pair. So you can put item frames, you can put whatever you want on the stripped log. I'm going to light up this area by putting lanterns where I could. No, actually, I'll put them on top of the wine shelves, I think, and then on the tables to light them up. Yeah, that looks good. Okay, now heading outside, gonna do the final touches of putting lanterns hanging off the logs, so we have the outside a little bit lit up as well. There we go. And that, ladies and gentlemen, is a full built-in cookhouse. I'm just gonna put an extra sign in. There we go. Cook house. You could dye the words, you could put glow ink on it to make it stand out a little more. I'm not going to. Yeah, I'll